Good evening, Coin Observatory. Good evening to all you crypto freaks. Do one more announcement. Pretty sure we're gonna start getting some people to join in on the video. Wanted to touch up on an analysis I did last night covering smart money shorting BTC and dumb money shorting BTC, and whether there was levels on the Bitcoin USD shorts chart from Bitfinex that we can identify these key areas of where smart money shorts the market and where dumb money shorts the market. Real quickly, what's the difference between dumb money and short money shorting, or dumb money and smart money shorting? Well, smart money is going to come in at the top of the rally, right? It's going to be those levels where shorts are interested in shorting. And dumb money is going to be short money coming in and getting liquidated and creating those short squeezes. We prefer dumb money if we're on the long side because it's going to give us these violent legs up, just like what we're seeing now. The reason I published is going to be a short squeeze on the 13th was because the amount of shorts was in the dumb money range. And you know, this thing's evolving. The BTC USD shorts chart is actually rather new. It's been in existence for almost a year, so we don't have a lot of data that goes further back, but we're going to use the data points that I've got on this chart and how they correlate with BTC in 2018. I've got an analysis on TradingView if you want to click on there and read it a little later. And this is somewhat satirical. It's supposed to be a little funny. Don't get hurt if you're shorting with the dumb money, and if you're shorting with the smart money, congratulations. Real quickly, when I start this analysis, a lot of the rally in 2017 up to December, we're not quite gonna count that just because it was a bull run, right? I mean, some guys shorted. There's too many intermediate rallies to cover those levels. We're gonna look at 2018, and actually we're gonna start with December 2017 when we were at an all-time high. And these green vertical bars are essentially going to represent the peak of the rally on the bottom chart and on the top chart as well. The top one's BTC USD shorts, the bottom one's BTC USD. Here we see that shorts came in at a level of 21,447, so 21,000 short sellers or so shorted that peak, right? And then the next peak was not until the February highs, right? So it's going to be smart money shorting. They're shorting the top of the rally at the all-time high. This was a very smart level of these guys. Moving on, we go through the dips, and the next two rallies were actually almost at the same price high of the 12K mark, almost 12K mark. And we had the February high and we had the March high. And then here we see smart money short selling BTC at the same level, right? And it's on that lower end of the shorts chart. And this one's at the 16,141 is where we see the smart money come in and short sell the top of the rally. And if you look at it, you know, here it was on the dip of the shorts. It was very few people are eyeing these levels or eyeing to short the chart at these levels. They're not coming in at the top, at the peak of a sell-off, right? They're not coming in at a selling climax. And then we move into the market low, right? This was the April lows, and essentially what happened in the April lows, we had a selling climax. Short selling was at an all-time high. And we're going to call this the super dumb money level when we get up here on the BTC USD charts. And if you're shorting down here, I'm not trying to offend you, right? But it's super dumb. Why? Because all these shorts got liquidated. And not only that, but we went on a 30-day rally for 55%. And on the way down, unless this square is an anomaly because it's kind of a range and we see a dip on BTC down to that first yearly low, right? So this square might be an anomaly, but on the way down, there was shorts also building up as BTC was rallying. So we're going to call these guys the sort of dumb area, right? And moving in, we move to the May peak, right? So we had the rally, May 5th started pulling back. And once again, shorts are up at that 21,000 range, right? 21,630. Once again, this is smart money right here, shorting the top of the rally. And that takes us to the previous lows where we saw the inverse head and shoulders, June 14th through, nope, this is the 16th, the end of it. Okay, June 13th through the 16th, right? And this is where we had the inverse head and shoulders. Once again, we see sort of dumb money at that sort of dumb money level of BTC USD shorts, short selling the yearly low once again. And that these guys just got squeezed out. I didn't quite count this as a short squeeze because we weren't at that super dumb money level shorting. But Arthur Hayes went up and he said it was a short squeeze on BitMEX. That might be what triggered this rally. The earlier rally we had, plus the inverse head and shoulders, right? So we know the neckline is a long formation. You long the neckline, you don't short the neckline. And we even had some kind of dumb money. Where's that neckline? I'm gonna put it right here. So this is kind of dumb money shorting, right? So these guys, we're gonna use this 21,630 line. Anything above that, we're gonna count as sort of dumb. Anything above that 28 is going to be super dumb for the sake of this analysis. And it's supposed to be kind of funny, right? Like, don't get too hurt by it. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why I'm wrong. Love to hear your input. Then we enter this next selling climax, right? And we see short sellers once again stack up to the previous all-time high in that super dumb money shorting range. And they're shorting the yearly low once again, but BTC set a higher low. I believe the low is at 58.91 here when we were at 5,700, and it was actually a wick on the daily chart. And this is where I put out the hey guys, there's a short squeeze coming. I put out a trading idea. I sent out a newsletter about it. I was letting everyone know, hey, like this is a good time to long. Yeah, and then today, interestingly enough, we're going to go to the intraday chart. We saw a pullback, right? And the nature of this pullback, as these Bitfinex shorts were closing down their positions, somebody else was short selling. And I think it was the BitMEX shorts really ramping up. BitMEX had a lot more volume. Then let me go ahead and pull up my Bitcoin volume, and we'll go into that, why I'm saying it was BitMEX. So BitMEX shorts were really bringing the price down. I think this was an attempt for a lot of these shorts that got stuck in the super dumb money shorting range to cover at a lower price before the chart rallies any higher, because if it does rally too high, the short squeeze is going to get more and more violent. So it might have been like a combined short effort. Yeah, it's just a theory. But once again, we saw this short selling happen today. It wasn't on Bitfinex, it was on BitMEX, but they're shorting in that sort of dumb range, and then we had that big bullish engulfing candle come in on high volume, and I'll talk about that on the intraday chart next. So any questions on these price levels? There's a link to this analysis and this chart if you want to see it and monitor it in the video description. It's the TradingView link. So going in, why do I think that the BitMEX is the culprit today? Well, if we pull up the trading volume, right, BitMEX at the very top, so it's by far got more volume trading BTC than any other exchange by miles. And that's why I think BitMEX was the culprit today. All right, moving on the intraday chart. What happened today? If you guys know what price discovery is, I've talked about that. If you're a subscriber, you should know what a price discovery is. I've done a workshop on that. And I was talking to my friend that spoke about, I believe, yesterday or day before on video, and I said, hey, he called me and he was still shorting, and he was asking me if you should average up his short, and I'm like, you're kind of trading on the wrong side of history right now because you're short squeeze. And then when this candle happened, he got stopped out of his short at 0, and I said, hey, like, I taught you how to hedge, right? Anyways, what is price discovery? I'm gonna go on like an intraday chart and talk about that. So price discovery is essentially short selling, right, to discover when are bulls gonna come in and bring the price back up, and how often are they gonna do that before bears stop selling short. So price discovery, in a sense, is these big downwards moves. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of pick up an arrow. Let's make it red for selling, right? So price discovery is how many times can we do this as a market maker, as a whale? How many times can I do this before reflexivity comes in and tells me no more, right? When we look at reflexivity, it's not quite the George Soros definition of reflexivity. I'm looking for a knee-jerk type of reaction that's coming in on high volume. I'm going to go ahead and darken my volume bar so you guys get an understanding of what I'm talking about. All right, so here we got these big green volume bars coming in, buy volume coming in to pick the price back up. So here, as bears were trying to discover how far down they can push BTC, they did it on high volume, right? They pushed the price down, 69.59, right where we're at right now. And then bulls didn't really come in violently saying no more, right? But as we started getting to these lows, this is when we see this big bullish volume start coming in the chart. So when I'm margin trading and I'm looking to add to a position, this is the stuff I look for. This is the stuff I look for in a yearly low to knife catch like a circus freak, right? This is why we long 5,700. This is why we long 5,800 and 61 once, or 60.40 once again. And it wasn't a big volume move on 60.40. It was just that squeeze looked too juicy. And so if someone's still like looking to hunt down a position, this isn't financial advice, but if we get a revisit of these lows, I had a 67.57 as a good entry just because of that low volume node. We see volumes kind of tapering off here. Price can get penetrated a lot faster. These bulls came in right before that. You guys can see that dotted line, 68.17. That's where I had a trading view alert on price. So I monitor the situation. This alert's been there for a little over a day, and my computer was freaking out because price was really just trading right over here for so long. It kept beeping. Tomas, yes, CME futures closing. We tend to sometimes see a pullback before CME futures close. They don't quite get settled today, but this is the closing price. I actually was going through a series of CME closes trying to gather as much data, and we've had the chart go both ways. We've had it go up since CME and down since CME. And at one point, I even had the CME futures pulled up, the ones that are settling, trying to understand what volume is doing, what these gaps are doing, and to see if CME is long or short. But the thing is, CME volume doesn't have that much impact, right? Now, they might be selling spot, they might be like causing market dumps, or selling actual BTC in the market to impact their futures settlement price, right? I think that's what's really happening, because how futures work is the institution longs the asset and they hedge against it and they short the future. Just like I taught you guys how to hedge short and long. But what they do is they actually, do it. One instrument is the future, and then they'll actually long the spot, right? So let's say they bought BTC before futures last year. That's why I'm thinking, ETFs, just the fact that there could be an ETF coming, that there are proposals getting looked at, just that might trigger institutional buying, because if they wait till if they wait till ETFs are approved, it might be too late. It's like waiting till futures started trading to long BTC. You are welcome. But like the some of the last futures that expired, like the July or June, there was a future that expired pre-rally, and there was one that expired right at the top of the rally. So it's somewhat net neutral data. Now, if I'm looking to nitpick another long and I'm not holding a position, if I am, I'm currently still long from 60.40, and I'm looking to add, if price comes back down here, right, and we see some of that big volume come back in to pick the price back up, essentially price discovery failing. I wrote an article about that on our Medium. If you click the link to our Medium, you can see what I'm talking about. If price discovery fails again and bulls push it back to the upside, this would be a good area to long, right? Last time we saw this happen was breaking out of these ranges over here, where we'd see a sell-off, especially after this last knife, this anomaly in the market. Here we see that big green volume come in, bulls saying no more, right? And they kept pushing up. We see bears over here try to price discover once again, bringing the price down from 67 to 65. Volume kind of tapered up, but then here we got into that breakout. I was literally thinking that we're going to re-enter that 66 range, 67. I shared some charts in BitMEX Long Short and Saber Notes and some of our paid channels of key areas to long. 68 was one of them, right? And there was also some lower ones too. And those were based on VPVR, which is a volume visible range. And volume tends to go through these lower volume nodes a lot faster. And this is why over here, I was thinking we're going to go back up to 7,300 range. And once again, before price broke out, what happened? Price discovery. Bears wanted to make sure, the price is being set right, or this was actually priced in before going all the way up, or else it would have been a bigger dump. So I'm sort of a fan of this move. And the more uncertainty there is in the market, the better it is, right? If everybody's euphoric, if we're in euphoria, we need to sell. The fact that we had this sell-off today, and now we're seeing a bullish engulfing candle, it liquidated a lot of longs, it liquidated a lot of shorts, and we're somewhat back in equilibrium where there's not that euphoria. All right, moving on. You guys have any altcoin questions? I'm ready to take some altcoin requests. I'll cover them. I'll cover quite a few. You guys have alt? Show me. ONT and VET. Oh, real quickly before I do that, thanks for jumping in, Usman. Thank you guys, Mark. All right, here we go. YouTube's firing up some requests. So, but before I do that, I want to go to the one-day chart on BTC USD. You guys know I really like my ADX, which is our trend indicator, and it's part of their DMI. And it was sitting at like 22.2 the other day, just 2 days ago, at the top of this rally. And it's kind of tapered off to a 21, right? 21 is like not a strong trend. 24 is a very strong trend. And the fact that it's kind of cupping, we had the bottom of the June dip, right? So that head, the inverse head on the head and shoulders, the June lows were a peak, right? And then it kind of tapered off into a trough, and essentially what we want to see ADX do for a sustained rally, we want to see it hit 24.25, and if it hits that 24.25 on the way up on the daily, that's going to be a really good indication. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that on the chart, that key level, right? So we're not quite there. We're currently at that 21.20, right? We were at 22 the other day. So a couple of upwards moves will set us and a nice uptrend, and 24 on the daily is really early in an uptrend or in a downtrend as well. But because the trend is currently up and ADX is coming out of a trough, right? It wants to go back up, or it's trying to go back up with price. That's really promising and interesting, and I like that quite a bit. So we're gonna cover some areas where ADX did that last year. I'm not saying it's gonna be the exact same thing, right? I mean, futures are trading. It's a little different. So here we correlate that with the chart. Here we go from a 24, 245%. We go from either on this uptrend, right? So ADX at 24, BTC went from 13.5 to that first peak was at 18, and that last peak before it tapered off was at 28.99. So I want to see ADX get to 24. I want to see it push higher, and if we start getting that upwards push on a climbing ADX, that would be nice. We hadn't quite seen it do that. Last time we broke 24, it was it was in a downtrend, right? And then the time after that, it was in a downtrend too. So I want to see it break 24 to the upside. All right, got a lot of alts coming in. So going over ADA. So before I get into alts, I want to talk about what's going on with alts right now. We've seen some alts rally, we've seen some alts pick up momentum, and we've seen others stagnate and still sell off. We did see a market-wide sell-off over the last 24 hours, and that's because BTC was in a pullback. That being said, a lot of these alts are going to show market unison, or price unison, are going to be essentially mimicking each other in that sell-off period, during that set-off period. Georgia, I have 8 on my chart. I'm going over it right now. Get in. So moving averages are still to the downside. The price broke above my 9, which is a good thing. If we were to classify, it's not a breakout. It doesn't have momentum to the upside right now. Personally, I think ADA wants to rally. I'm just gonna add an RSI here and get rid of my stochastic. So are we seeing a divergence? 1, 2, 3. I see somewhat of a failure swing on RSI, right? So we've got the lower low right here, and we've got a higher low on daily RSI. We've seen that happen a few times during the sell-off, but more importantly, it's back at these previous areas of support, right? At this previous breakout formation. That's kind of promising as a low. I'm not quite gonna say that it's bottomed out. It's definitely, we got stopped out at ADA, and I don't believe I've re-signaled it for our community, just based on it doesn't quite have the momentum yet. But more interesting, there could be a possibility of a falling wedge. That could have just broken out. It could be and it could not be. So this is how I would view ADA right now. We've got a low, we've got a high. We want to see if you can establish a range on this chart, right? So we see our low, which is at 1388. It's a pretty tight range. And the high of 1498, right? So there's only about 100 satoshis in this range. So it's a pretty constricted range. And let's look at Wyckoff accumulation. Nope. What I want, if I was a range trader, this is how I would trade ADA right now. I would buy the bottom of the range with a stop below the last fractal, and then hope for a breakout, right? Or hope for a move to the top of the range, or wait for it to develop a breakout formation. We're going to see a lot of breakout formations on some of these other alts, and then essentially buy the breakout formation, because that would give me more momentum to the upside and less of an opportunity cost of my money waiting to rally. Right, ontology, vet, ETH. I've had a lot of DMs, people texting me and messaging me asking me, hey, what do I think of Ether long? One of those was yesterday, and I said not yet. It's not a knife catch. All right, so ONT, right? So definite breakout to the upside. That looks good. That looks healthy. We're seeing somewhat of a dragonfly doji on the daily. This could be almost categorized as a flag, right? Market was in a unison sell-off past couple of days. This is my favorite type of flag, but it broke up to the upside, which is good. We see price and moving averages trying to converge above that longer term moving average. This looks good. It's got some momentum to the upside. Daily RSI is at 50. It's found support of 46. I would expect a bullish continuation here. Let me put a fib, swing high to swing low, see where resistance levels are. I mean, look at that, right? Rejection right at that 23.6 fib twice. And I want to see it break above that 4,000 mark up to 41.23, open up here for a continuation. And once again, you know, alts are going to rally up until we get an ETF approval. Then it's going to be like, I believe it's going to be like the altcoin bear market of last year. And don't just like freak out, because I said that during the Bitcoin gold fork and the Bitcoin cash fork, we saw alts get crushed because everybody wanted to get back into BTC. Depending on the type of ETF, there's that top 10 ETF that counts 10 coins. That one might be good for the entire market cap. It's gonna flow. It might flow money into all those coins, and you might not even see an impact. Right. So this is it for ONT. I'm gonna cover VET. Right. I signaled this one. Once again, Georgia, so like this is the breakout formations I was talking about. We're gonna see a few of those. We saw that get into this pennant, and it attempted to break it once. It failed. It broke it again. Our stops below. We saw these candles come down. This is a dragonfly doji, right? It's bullish. If you see one, when we see one of those, it tells us that the market's ready to go back up. Because it's at the bottom. If it's at the top, it's a hanging man. Let me see if I can get more data off the vent chart. Kind of sucks when a chart does that, right? Because you can't pick your previous support and resistances. Let's go back to VET. Looking at the dollar chart, it's up from a 0.15 cents, right? A cent and a half to a cent 0.66. I think this one can rally back up, right? I think this was a good grab, especially with this formation. What's RSI doing? I don't see divergence on the daily. Go ahead and make this a little bigger. I don't quite see divergence on the daily. I'm going to go into smaller time frames and look at that. So let's go to 240. There's a little bit of a divergence on that 4-hour chart. And they get rid of some of these indicators out of money flow index. It's a little more accurate than RSI because it kind of compensates for that volume. And I'm still seeing a little bit of divergence there, but it I haven't profit taken yet, right? I think this one's is pretty good for now. ETH long. If you're on Facebook, I'm also taking requests from YouTube, so I'll get to you as soon as I knock out whoever asked before. We'll look at ETH USD Bitfinex chart, and then we'll look at ETH BTC. Alright, so this is promising, right? We're seeing what I call price discovery volume. We've got a range developed. So this was our yearly low. If this was like a Wyckoff accumulation phase, it's not quite ready yet, right? So we've got a bigger range between 260 and 318. And we saw volume step in. We saw the bears push price back down all the way down to that 259. Bulls coming with that higher volume, these bigger volume bars. Go back up, more price discovery, some rejection. Price discovery once again was countered. So ETH is looking to set up for a good long. I wouldn't quite long it on margin yet, right? I'm not doing an Ether future just yet. The tighter, more constricted range is going to be that 268 to 295, right? So if we get another pushback down, I want to see volume come back in and push ETH back to the upside, and that would kind of confirm that, hey, price discovery is over. Or if you get into like a Wyckoff accumulation period, which looks like the BTC daily chart for 2018, it's gonna look something like this, right? We don't quite see that. We see a selling climax. We haven't seen a secondary test spring or another test come in, but on BTC we saw that. And well, go back to a daily chart. Come on. So going back to the daily chart, we had our first selling climax. Shorts were at an all-time high. We had a spring. Now we're getting somewhat of a secondary test. We saw that happen on BTC throughout the whole year, right? We haven't quite seen that on ETH. In terms of US dollar, this is the first time we get down to these lows, unless this is the spring. If this is the spring, that might be it's the yearly low. We might get a revisit, get another secondary test. Also, another thing on ETH, a lot of alts are looking stronger than ETH. They're rallying on the ETH chart. They got breakout formations on the ETH chart. So I think alts are a little stronger than ETH at the moment. Not all of them, some of them. All right, Ether Classic. If I've covered your coin, click like. All right, go ahead and like the video, even if you don't like my analysis. I'm just telling you what I see, what the market's showing me. I'm not making these prices. So Ether Classic, we do know this token gets shorted quite a bit. If you're trading with us, we had stops, bought and sold the rally. And over here, one of our subscribers was like, hey, like it's on Coinbase, we're gonna get a rally. And I said not quite. Why? Because Coinbase coins are not rallying. The market does not have momentum to the upside. We're not seeing the bull runs we saw like we did on Ether and BTC and even Litecoin. We're not seeing everything on Coinbase moon. We're not seeing people picking up their phone and just buying crypto off Coinbase because it's going up and they need to get in on that rally. That's when I see Ether Classic rallying, is when we get in another mania phase. Some promising things I see on the chart. You're getting that rounding bottom, that tapering rounding bottom formation. This was Coinbase news. right? This was the shakeout. It hasn't really broken out of that range. It's still at that range low. I'm currently not bagging any Ether Classic and not exactly looking to buy Ether Classic. I think there's a lot stronger coins out there. Right, Omizigo. Go ahead and smash that like button if I covered your coin. So looking at the daily BTC chart, let me go to the USD chart. Okay, all right. So just based off like historical ADX levels, I see, I don't want to say it this way, I might see more blood coming just because of the way ADX is shaped, right? It's not quite ready. I went over what BTC's ADX looked like and looked promising. Daily RSI's at 45, pointed down. MFI 53 and pointed down. Oscillators not looking good. Chart formations, there's something interesting, right? This could be an ascending triangle, right? On like a double bottom on the daily, this could be an ascending triangle. There's one way to find out, right? There's one if it's time. If we get a breakout above that $4.05 mark, it might have done an ascending triangle bottom, right? And that would be a good thing. So that's when I am likely to get into a trade, is on this breakout and with a stop below the formation. Moving averages are looking decent. We're getting the first cross that I look for. But we've also seen tokens cross and range for a while before the breakout. And that's why I'm a momentum trader. We try to signal momentum tokens only to just get the most out of the market and not lose opportunity cost. I'm moving forward. Digibyte. Alright, what is RSI doing on Digibyte? There's definitely an exaggerated divergence, right? And it kind of sucks when I say, hey, this Digibyte's looking more promising than OMG. We had traded Digibyte. We made some 70% off of it. We got stopped out. We have not looked back since. Get rid of some more of these indicators. We haven't quite looked back since, but I'm seeing an RSI divergence. It's clear as light. It's an exaggerated divergence. We're also seeing the same thing. And I did mention we're going to see some market unison where some of these tokens are essentially mimicking each other. So here we're seeing another ascending triangle on a double bottom ish. Moving averages looking the same, right? With that ascending triangle formation. Last time we traded Digibyte, we bought a pennant in the 300 range and we trailed our stops to like 560, scaled out at the top. I mentioned this was an expanding top. We got out. But you know, long term throughout this bear market, this thing has made higher lows and a higher high somehow. Even though I think it's a shitcoin. But I like trading technicals. Going over Nano. Do I see Nano pulling back to 4,300? It's looking really bullish, right? Look at all this volume coming in on Nano and compare it to a lot of these other tokens that have had zero volume or very low volume. There's a lot of interest in this token currently. And once again, there's a breakout formation, right? There's a flag, breaks out. RSI is looking clean on the daily. Let's look at the 4 hour, try to find a range. I can see a 4,300, right? I mean, they still got to clear this newly developed range with a clear support low. You can take this one further back, right? So it's definitely traded in this range before. I'd want to see it break out of this current range before saying we can't see 4,300 anymore. And I hate using wicks. I'm just going to use the last candle body and last candle body. All right, so before Nano even makes a leg up, it's got to break out of the 54. And there's a possibility of this, of a tighter range developing. But for now, you got one touch, the second touch. This could be resistance up here. So time will tell. I don't like the FOMO. This was the buying at Nano. We missed it. Sorry. It happens. What is my opinion on XRP? Not just the TA, but FA as well regarding Codius, XRapid, and the Interledger protocol. I'm a momentum trader, right? I can look at the XRP chart for you. I don't quite dive into fundamentals because I don't hodl, right? I'm not into hodling. I'm into margin trading. I'm into breakout trading. I'm into momentum trading, and not hodling. XRP was looking promising, right? But then we saw this rejection come in. Kind of had a developing. It was a bearish triangle. It looked bullish until it broke down, right? So if we were to count these right here, because we were really eyeing this one, we got stopped out. So looking at the chart up until this point, it looked like a ascending triangle, like a bullish pennant or a symmetrical triangle for that reason. And then it broke down. Price tried to get back up and it failed, right? It failed over here, got rejected, shunned back down. Momentum is currently to the downside, right? We saw it break back up, and then now it's setting up another bear flag, coming back down to retest some of the lows. That is XRP BTC. Let's look at the XRP USD chart. XRP USD chart looks a little better, and the reason is because BTC is actually trading up, right? Momentum is with Bitcoin, not with Ripple. We saw XRP break out on USD and now coming back down to retest that previous this is a throwback. So when you get a breakout to the upside, price revisits the where price was previously. It's essentially a throwback, and this is actually a bearish triangle. I don't know why it broke upwards. Maybe because the whole market's rallying. Trying to identify a range here. Do we have 3 touches? Let me go to 12 hour. I mean, throwbacks typically are a buy for me. So when something tries to break out and it throws back, it's like buying the pullback. Then RSI is looking at the downside. It's at 49. I want to see it get back up to like a healthier level, above 51 on the daily. I don't see a divergence. Let's go to Bittrex. Once again, for a lot of these tokens that are just now experiencing their lows, some of these older, more proven tokens, I want to see at least like a Wyckoff phase something that tells us, this is an accumulation period. I don't quite see that. And if you compare volume, right? We looked at Nano. Let's go on Binance. It's got more of the volume today. The volume on Nano was really high compared to the volume we're seeing on XRP. There's not quite a whole lot of interest in it right now. You bet, Nicholas. Alright guys, I got about 15 more minutes. Show me some alts. Mana. No, I was pretty bullish on Mana yesterday, and I'm still bagging some Mana. Even though it's pulled back. Right? What do we know about this token? I'll tell you what we know about this token. Throughout the bear market, this was the top performer. This is the only token that kicked ass from December 2017 up until today. This thing is up 706%. Mana was our biggest gainer throughout the bear market. And we also swung it several times. Usually when Mana breaks down from a downtrend, it likes to go on a rally. This was one downtrend. This was a brief breakout, came back down, retested previous lows. This could be a Wyckoff accumulation phase on Mana. And so I know I'm not big on fundamentals, but Mana is so interesting. It's actually, I don't know if you know what Mana is. Mana is a VR token, right, where they've created their own universe, and the way you interact with it is with Mana token. So it's actually tied to virtual real estate, and so it's hard to devalue a token that people are using in a sense of staking them in virtual land or actual land. So you would buy land with this token, you develop land, you can charge people, you can sell it back. I mean, I was actually looking on their platform, and there's lots going for like $1 million worth of Mana. Not $1 million Mana, but $1 million worth of Mana. So it's really interesting, especially with VR, like Second Life being the thing, and it's part of our evolution as a species, is how we entertain ourselves and spend our time. And it's back at these lows that it's set, not quite at the bottom of the lows, but once again, usually when Mana breaks a downtrend, if you're gonna go off like fractals, 50-day rally, another 50-day rally, 51-day rally, and here we got to swing it for 129%. So I like this token. I'm not emotionally attached to it. We sold it here, haven't looked back until now. Let's add some oscillators so I'm not just going off price action. RSI touched oversold, came back down to a lower level. Let's go to Binance just to get more volume. It's going to give us more accurate oscillators. And this thing still is making higher highs. This is the first time it makes a lower low. And if we're going to go off a divergence, not into the extremes, it's looking fairly good. I'm still bagging my Mana. I said this is going to be like a 30 to 50 day rally. I'll stop out on a wider stop, but like below the previous low. So like 1025 would be my stop on Mana. Lumens. Guys on Facebook, go ahead and click like. YouTube, click like on the video. I'm covering your tokens. So Lumen's interesting. It's looking very much like BAT was. I haven't re-signaled Lumens yet. This is probably one of the stronger tokens out there, right? They've got a big partnership. You see this big ascending triangle. Let's go to Bittrex. It's been trading there for longer. Once again, it's sitting at this previous support level several times. Here we saw an inverse head and shoulders play out. It was kind of jaded for a rally. I'm just going to go ahead and eye some things out before I dive in and say why it's looking like B18, why I haven't signaled it yet. So this is inverse head and shoulders. We got a rally. So this is a reversal formation here. There wasn't quite one except for this divergence. So this would have been our bullish signal, right? That compounded with moving averages breaking up. If I was to apply current market conditions, it should be a buy signal fairly early, right? So this is our buy signal on MAs. These are just EMAs that are sped up to keep up with the market now. This is very volatile. It gives us early buy signals and early sell signals. Something I've been using. I developed strictly for the last couple of months of trading. So it's still looking like a sell. And the reason I'm hesitant right now is because we've seen this triangle on several tokens. Right? And it's currently trying to break below. So it's at support. Hey, like buy support, sell resistance. Well, that works, right? That works sometimes. Still don't see the early buy signal on the daily. Let's go to 240. I don't see it on 240. It looks like it might be priming up to do a cross on the 240. Is there a wedge? I don't see a wedge. I do see an RSI div. But back to BAT. Why it looks so much like BAT? And these tokens tend to rally together at times, right? I think BAT is just leading in a sense of what could happen. So if we were to even neglect this low and draw a triangle, this triangle looked a lot more bullish as the highs are a lot closer to each other. And then we saw BAT break down. We saw this false rally come up, rejected right then and there. So like last time we swung this one was this breakout. I think 40% overnight, stopped out, haven't looked back. That's why I haven't. That's why I'm not thinking that Lumens is looking very promising right now. I just seen this pattern over and over. Can you check on Discord? All right, you guys have any more altcoin requests? We drew that trend line. There we go. I mean, one idea for Lumen is like, you know, essentially buy support, and this isn't financial advice, just my opinion. In this case, I'm not doing so. All right. Well, since there are no more requests, I'm gonna go back to the BTC chart, see if there's anything I want to highlight further. Not quite. So. Yeah, if you guys margin trading with me, you guys know what the plan is. I actually announced a hedge over here like 670.77 with a stop at 70.90, and we closed our hedge short while maintaining our long. I closed it a little too early, right? I closed it like around here. Could have kept it open for a little longer, but the idea is I'm looking to add at some point. I want to buy the dip on reflexivity, on price discovery failing. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. If you missed my brief lesson on dumb money shorting versus smart money shorting, it's on TradingView. It's the beginning of this video. If you like my lesson on smart versus dumb money shorting, go and share it in your favorite Facebook groups or wherever you'd like. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all on Discord.